Okay. Five, four, three, two. Well, hello. Hello, hello. We are here. We are here. We have finally made it.
Oh,
Welcome. Welcome to Travel as a Catalyst for your growth, your personal growth, your wellness growth. I'm just talking, but I'm not introducing myself. My name is Onye James, founder of WanderLuxe. We are here today with
Oluwaseyifunmi Adebisi from coachsheyifunmi.com.
Yes, it is. So we are here to speak more on travel as well as how travel connects with self-growth. A little bit about what we're going to do right now. We're just going to do a little bit intro about ourselves. So we can kind of set the stage for you for where we are coming from a mental standpoint. And then we're going to dive right in. We're going to pinpoint questions to each other and just share with you guys a lot of knowledge that we have thus far, things that we're still trying to work through, things that we're still growing through, and things that we feel we want to share with you all into the world as well.
Yeah.
So I will start. My name is Onye, WanderLuxe founder, WanderLuxe consultant. What is WanderLuxe? Well, we are I'm a consultant, a travel consultant. And what we do is try and plan itineraries, plan trips that are very intentional to you. Now, everyone is a different traveler. I know you guys have all seen the memes about people who travel and they pack last minute, or people who travel and they get to the airport 3, 4 hours before your flight actually is. Or my favorite one is when you go to the airport and you go to check to see if your gate actually exists, which is something people really do all the time. I do it too. But what we do is really we curate your travel experience, we curate your itinerary to make sure that it is what you want to get out of it. You don't want to go on a trip and feel like, why am I here? What am I even doing? You're listless. You don't know what you're doing, you're just going with the flow. No, we want to be intentional in what we're doing. So we do have different types of travelers, the solo travelers, family travelers that we do help. So that's just our goal to provide that service for people to make their lives, their experiences easier, more luxurious on a budget, because some people sometimes you gotta be on a budget sometimes. And also just stress-free. All right, so that's what we do here in Wonderlux. And so now I'm gonna pass it over to Oluwaseyifunmi.
Oh, thank you, Onye. That was a good introduction. And I'm just gonna piggyback on one of the words you used, which is curate. So for me, I am a coach, right? I'm a life leadership and learning coach. So I deal more with transformation. If you want to uplift your life, you want to get your life to where it's supposed to be. You just got into a leadership position. You don't know how to navigate the whole process. It's my job to help you navigate it. And also I do learning. I do all things learning, everything learning, corporate learning, personal learning. I'm all things learning. So that's what I do. And what I was going to say about curated. So for me, when it comes to life, like life, your life, you have to curate it, right? Life happens, right? Age, time passes by, but to be intentional about your life is you curating the kind of life you want to live.
Yep.
And that's what I do with people. That's what I sit down with them and say, from a coaching standpoint, is what kind of life do you want? You will be amazed at the fact that a lot of people do not know what they want. They know what they don't want, but they don't know what they want. And if you don't know what you want, how do you stay your day? How do you stay your life?
Yeah.
How do you stay your finances towards that direction? So that's what I do at Crochet for me.
Perfect. We need to get into Coach Shay for me because she is just has him having me excited. And that's what we're really going to spend this time in this webinar talking about. Those things, the intentionality, having that vision for your life, and how those little things you do, something like traveling, can really have a big impact on your life. So what we're gonna do now, we're just gonna do a quick Q&A, right? So we're gonna ask our Coach Shay for me here some questions and have her impart her wisdom on us. And then she will also share the favor, and I can share my own insights with you guys too. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, our first question for our coach here. Travel as a catalyst for transformation. That is the intention with this question. Now, I'm already dropping intentions from the very beginning, and that's what we're going to continue to do with the theme. It's all
Yeah.
intentional. So, for you, Coach Shay, for me, in what ways does leaving your comfort zone, right? Either it's geographically, mentally, how does it help you accelerate that personal growth or that professional growth in any aspect of someone's life?
Oh, that's a very good question because for you to move to the next level of your life, you have to say goodbye to this current level.
Hmm.
You really have to say goodbye to your current level. And your current level is usually a comfort place for you already. Like, oh, I'm fine. I perhaps you had worked to get to this position. You have probably okay, let's use the cost of you applying for a job. Like you apply for 1 million job, the way the job market is now, you
Yeah.
get one. There's a tendency for you to be like, oh God, I am here now, I should just rest.
Mm,
Now, over time, you then get into being in your comfort zone where everything is fine, everything is working. But I tell you that because everything is working does not mean there is no more. You are made for more. For every stage in life that you are, there is more you can do. So mentally, you always have to say, you always have to question yourself and say, am I resting on my oars? Am I in a place where I am complacent? Because there's something that it's a little tweak. I mean, it's just a small space between comfort and complacence.
mhm.
Once you start to drift into that comfort, you will get into complacence. And once you get into complacence, you stop being your best. You stop leveraging your best. You stop aspiring for more, no matter. And that's one of the things I want you to take from this webinar that irrespective of the level of growth that you have right now, there is more.
There's
There
more.
is more you can be. And because there is more you can be anywhere you have been before, you should always strive to be better. So mentally, you have to always do that. And now geographically, I mean, having travel as one of the things you do, there's something about travel, it exposes you. I have seen people that have not left, I call it a cocoon. People
Hmm.
live in cocoons. And because they live in cocoons, you could tell when you're interacting with them that they've not met people. They've
Yeah.
not been anywhere else.
Yeah.
And when people are not been anywhere else, you don't blame them because your frame of references becomes small. When you see what other people are doing, you then begin to say, "Oh my God, something is happening." So there's an adage in my native language Yoruba that says that when you have not seen the farmland of another person, you think your father's farmland is the biggest.
Yep.
Yeah, when you've not
Yep.
seen that, when you've not, and that what that speaks to is the fact that when you have not explored, when you have not traveled, when you have not seen what other people are doing, you would then think that, oh, all you're doing is there to do it. No, all you're doing is not there to do it. There are people doing
Yeah.
bigger, better. It's not a cause of comparison. It's just, and that's what this conversation is about. This conversation is about catalyzing you to know that there is more, and then using travel as one of the ways for you to open your mind for the more.
Mm.
That's my long short answer. I don't know.
No, that's interesting because it's almost like the goldfish mentality, right?
Yes.
Put a goldfish in a small aquarium, it's only gonna grow as far as that bowl.
Yeah.
When you
So
turn it to
jump
the
out of the
ocean,
aquarium.
exactly, just bigger,
Jump.
bigger ocean, you then
Yes.
begin to explore, you spread your wings, you fly. But no, that's
Exactly.
really, really important. That complacency is actually death in a way.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
you're not growing, and it's
Yes.
something you should try and shy away from in a
You,
way.
I don't think you should shy away from. You should be intentional, and I think that's something we will keep saying in the course of
Mm,
this webinar is intentionality. You should not just shy away from it. You should be intentional that your life will amount to more, and you will take every necessary step needed for you to
hmm.
do more. If
Nice.
it means travel, let's travel.
I guess that kind of leads into the next question when we're talking about traveling. So, you as a coach, I mean, your own personal life, you've traveled, whether it's to the next state, to a different country. Well, how has travel helped you reconnect with your why, either in life or in professional growth?
Okay, so for me, what travel has done for me is open my mind. Open my mind. Like you go to I had a trip once
Hmm.
to Senegal. It was it was for a retreat, right?
Yeah.
And that trip blew my mind. It blew my mind in terms of the fact that I I I got to meet people that were doing things that I didn't imagine. And which is why I'm here to say that I
Mhm.
didn't imagine people were doing stuff like
Yeah.
that. I had not been in a certain at that time. I'd not and I think that was my first trip. That was one of the first trips I had that had to do around coaching, learning outside of my personal space.
Yeah.
At that time I was still living in Nigeria. So that was the first time I was going to do that. And then I saw people bring, so the retreat had people from all over Africa, young people all over Africa, and we were discussing big things, big ideas. And that the retreat itself helped me connect to, oh, this is actually what I wanted to use my life for. But
Yeah.
also I was greatly inspired by the work of other people,
Yeah.
people that I met. I was like, wow, you're doing this in Ghana, you're doing this in the Gambia, you're doing this everywhere. And then exploring Senegal at the time was another experience for me. I tell you, it was that trip that I formed my love for jasmine rice. It was on that
Really?
trip. I'm telling you, like if when anytime I perceive jasmine rice now, it
It just
always takes me back to
connects.
Senegal. It takes me back to Senegal. Like, so you can imagine, and
Yeah.
this trip is, where are we now? This trip is like 2012.
Oh, wow. And it still
Yes, but
resonates.
it still resonates. So the love for Senegal, all of those things, they
Yeah.
still, what it just connects. That trips connects me to purpose each time I remember it. It was like it was the first place I fine-tuned. Okay, this is actually what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
So
you. That's a
a
good question.
follow-up question for that
Hmm.
kind of leads back into the first thing you said, getting out of your comfort zone. So how did you feel when you were just about to head over to Senegal for the first time?
You wouldn't believe. Going to Senegal was actually my first flight. That trip was also my first flight.
Oh, wow.
So I wasn't sure of what was going to happen up there, but I I just wanted it. I just wanted it. I just wanted another opportunity. And I was just like, okay, let's do it.
But
Let's do it. So I got on the flight. I didn't know how to behave. I just was having fun.
we'll
I
learn
got to
as we
Senegal.
go.
I got to Senegal very late. I got to Senegal very late. I had someone pick me up. It was an exquisite experience for me. But
Okay.
that the whole the whole trip
Yeah.
was actually it was a first of its kind for me, and it marked me. It did.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that I usually say to anyone when I talk about travel with, like
Hmm.
your first trip will always leave a stamp on your soul. And anything
Yeah,
you do
that's
is
true.
always going to
That's
connect
true.
right back to that. And it's
That's true.
usually a trajectory for your life,
Yes,
honestly.
yes,
Those
yes.
are great questions. Those are great questions.
Mhm. I mean, I, when agreed to join this, I said, I have to ask you questions as well because I know your travels. Like I know your
Right.
travels. So I'm going to ask you that same question you asked me, which is, what was that one trip for you that changed how you view the world? That marked you, not your first trip, but there was this one trip beyond your first trip. Now, okay, yes, that's what I want.
Okay.
Tell us about your first trip and then that trip that really changed how you see the world, how then made you always want to travel because you're always traveling.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so my very first trip, my very, 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 very first one was like I'm gonna say when I was an adult. All right, when I was an adult, my very first trip was to Dublin. This was in 2015 when I just graduated. I went to Dublin. It was part of like a hybrid class where you would go to class, you would go do an online course during the year, and then once the year is over, you go to the country. And so we had 1 week in Ireland.
Wow.
I hadn't traveled in years at that point. As an adult, I'd never traveled. And it was just a very eye-opening experience for me. And and it was eye-opening in the most subtle way. When I got off that plane, there was a sense of calm that came over me that I still till today, I don't know how to explain it. There was just a certain sense of calm that I was just very relaxed. And I would walk everywhere. We would go to our session for the day, and then I would go out and just walk. That's where some till today I still have some friends from Dublin that I'm still close with. And we would I was just in the zone there. And it was to the point where the trip was nearing this end, and I made this weird decision to go to London. Again, now let me set the stage. Broke college student. Didn't really have any money on me. But I said, wait a minute. Dublin to London is not that much expensive, well, especially when you fly Ryanair. It's not that expensive. Let me just go. I got a hostel and I spent 3 days in London. My meals consisted of the pound menu, so not dollar menu, the pound menu. I went to the stores there and got there's something rose, I forgot the name. It's this drink that's on sale all the time, and digestives. That was my meal for 3 days, and I had a ball. I had the time of my life, and it was just a week span. So after that, I knew that okay, being on the move was a thing for me. I had to keep on the go because when I lived in Nigeria, we always moved. So I liked that. Oh, let me experience something new. Let me experience something new. That trip really kind of molded me in a way. Like even till today, whenever I take people to Dublin, one of my friends was like, "You're different here." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm different here." Like, no, you're different here. I don't see it. But the one that actually did solidify that feeling for me was when I went back to Dublin for a solo trip. It wasn't meant to be a solo trip. It was supposed to be me and my best friend. But then he couldn't go anymore. So it was a week and a half of me by myself there. And there was no panic. Well, let me rewind back. There was panic in the beginning because that was my first ever solo trip. But it was just that calm once again that was like, you know what, this is it. This is where your life is. Moving around, trying new things, experiencing things by yourself. Going to a bar by yourself, going to a restaurant to go eat by yourself, exploring by yourself. There is just something that when you do those things solo, one, you learn so much more about yourself. You're more in tune with that inner voice in your head, way much more in tune. You're more open to meeting new people. The more good energy you give out, the more you receive in. And that's what I learned on that specific trip. Because people are like, why are you going by yourself? It's not safe. I'm like, well, if you have common sense, you know the same rules apply in your own country, in someone else's country too, because we're all humans. So common sense on safety still applies. But if you go out envisioning something negative will happen to you, something negative will happen to you. But if you go out just sharing your positivity, giving someone a smile on the street, not saying to go ahead and start meeting everyone, no, but if you just share that positivity, the world works in that way where it'll come right back to you. And that was my experience. That's the one that changed me. So I went on a rant. Travel makes
That
me go on rants.
is beautiful because as you spoke, what I realized is the fact that travel could help you discover yourself.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Travel, it's something you could use to discover yourself. Like that being in tune with yourself. When you realize why do I feel the way I feel here? Why do I feel the way I feel? People don't take a step back to evaluate how they feel. Like when you are in a space, how you feel in that space matters a lot.
Oh yeah.
So you should be intentional about knowing how you feel about places, about things, but travel. get into a space and you say, no, this feels like home for you. And
Yeah.
then you think that I think travel is my thing.
Yeah.
I
And
think
you
travel is
and
my
there's
thing.
some situations where you'll travel and you get to a place and you'll say,
You know, no,
no,
this
no,
is
no,
where
no.
I don't want to be here.
Exactly.
I do not want to be here.
No.
So I think this explains to me how you, because I've seen you come back from trips, right? I've seen you come back from trips, and I see how you those few days be like, oh God, you're in the hair
Yeah,
after a few days after you come back from those trips. Travel is your thing. Let's just leave it like that,
it
and then
is.
let's move on. Let's move on.
It is who I am. It is who I
Yeah,
am.
yeah.
But do you have any questions? Other questions for me regarding traveling?
Okay. So concerning travel. Okay, so one lesson, apart from what you have shared, what one lesson do you think the traveler has taught you that you didn't pick up in a book, but you picked up maybe on the street of Dublin or in
Mhm.
that rural village in Europe?
One lesson, and it's so funny because I'm actually doing a whole series on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok right now regarding like travels and
Mm-hmm.
like things to avoid or things not to do.
Okay.
And one of them, this is like a leak. I haven't really put out there yet. But one of them, it's not expecting the culture you're going to assimilate to you.
Mm,
So when you travel, do not expect a different culture to create space for your own either misconceptions or how you are in your own culture, how your own culture is. No. You're a guest in someone's country, you're a guest in someone's home. So what you need to do is respect the culture, learn about the culture, right? In the
mm,
United States of America, one of the biggest things here is tips. When you go out to eat, you tip the waiter, you tip your bartenders, right? In other countries, it's not really like that. It's not a big thing over there, right?
mm,
So
mm.
sometimes we may take what we know about our own culture, and when we travel, we try and stamp that into someone
Expect
else's
it
culture, where when you do that, you actually inadvertently cause yourself to have a bad experience because
mm,
you're not being open or you're
mm.
not being respectful of someone else's culture.
Someone's
And
country.
sometimes you don't even know it because you're
Mm.
so stuck in your own ways. You're so stuck in that closed-mindedness of your own culture that you were refusing to be more amiable to it under the
Other
culture.
people's culture.
Exactly, the culture that you are in. And it's something that's even prevalent here, right? And I'll give a perfect example. When you go to someone's house, right? The first thing you should ask, shoes off or shoes on? Because
True.
in their house, that's their culture,
It's their
right?
house.
It's their house, it's their culture. Or if you go to someone's home and they only use plastic forks and plates to eat, guess what? That's what you're gonna do too, because that's their home.
Mm,
Now,
mm,
as a guest, they may try to make you feel comfortable, and a way they could do that in a different country is speaking English. If that's all you know, then they'll speak the only English they know. But please try and learn at least a little phrases here and there. But that's how they'll extend out. But anything else, no, now you're feeling entitled. So that's a lesson that I learned because I have two cultures in my head. Nigerian, two cultures rolling around consistently. So I had to compartmentalize and then create
yeah.
room for any other culture that I'm traveling within.
Awesome. This your answer. So I'm currently running an MBA program, and one of the courses I'm taking now has to do with cultural intelligence. And we look at it in terms of for businesses to say that the world is becoming more global. You
Yeah.
must understand the culture of other nations,
Yes.
other countries where you go there. But now you saying that cultural intelligence is very important for you to even enjoy your travel.
Yes.
That's another thing.
Oh,
That
yes.
takes it to another level for
Oh,
me.
yes. People downplay it, but it'll make
Wow.
or break your trip.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I love that one. I love it. I love it.
But stop asking
Thank
me
you.
questions. It's time for me to go back and start asking you questions.
Okay, let's do that. Let me see what questions you have.
All right. So we're going to shift again, word, intentionality. We're going to shift the conversation back to our coach here. And we're going to be talking about more on your mindset,
Okay.
and we're going to go back and kind of harp back on an intentionality. All right.
Mm.
So, how do you define intentional living?
Okay. So intentional living, if I were to define it, I would say that it reflects in how you spend your time, your energy, and your money. Those three things determine whether you're being intentional about your life or not. Now, what is intentional living is, do you have an intention for your life? Where are you steering your life
Mm,
toward?
mm, okay.
What is the intent? Do you have an intent when you wake up this morning? What was your intent when you woke up this morning? Now, what is your intent at the end of March, at the end of May? What do you want to see at the end of May? What do you want to see at the end of 2025? Now, when there is what you want to see, it then determines what you will do with your everyday. So the reason why people are not intentional about their life is because they do not have anything set in stone, set upon their art to achieve, set to do, set to be.
Mm,
So when you say intentional living, it is the fact that I have decided that this is what I want to use my life for. This is the outcome I want my life to produce. So because I have that outcome, it then determines what I do with my time, my energy, and my money. So
filter.
if I have an intent
Hmm.
to lose weight, then I will, if my intent is to lose weight, then my time has to be allocated to go into the gym. My energy has to be in place for me to do my workout. My money has to be in place to make sure that I am eating the right food. So, how am I spending my money to be able to ensure that I am healthy? If I am spending my money on drugs, it only shows that I'm not being intentional about
Exactly. You're
that
not in
healthy
alignment with your
living.
intentions.
So intentional living is, there is something I want to achieve with my life over a period of time, over the long haul, 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, 3 years, 3 months. What is that thing that I want to do? Then once I decide this is it, then I invest my time, my energy, and my money into it. That's intentional living.
Mm,
So you have to know what you want and then put those three things, time, energy, and money, into it.
nice. And it's so interesting because I do have like a quote on my wall that says
Mhm.
live every day with intention. So when you
Yes.
see that, that reminder of what it is
Yes.
you want, it's kind of
Mhm.
like another layer, another brick in the layer of exactly who you are, who you want to be, and the path you want.
Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah. Yeah.
totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now that we have that definition of intentionality, intentional living, right? We know that your mindset plays a crucial role in this, right? So, and also plays a crucial role in shaping each and every aspects of our lives. So, how would you then define what mindset really is? Because we throw that word around a lot. And why do you think having the correct mindset is important for success? Is important to actually live the life you want with that vigor of intentionality?
So once I think mindset, the first thing that comes to my mind is the quote from the scriptures that says that as a man thinketh, so he is.
Mm, hmm.
So people rise to the level of their thoughts. The quality of your thought determines the quality of your life. So ask yourself, what are you thinking? Now, this question is not something you could, what am I thinking? Right now, I'm with you. I'm thinking about WanderLuxe, right? I'm thinking about this webinar, right? That's what I'm thinking right now. But when I sit down and I look at myself and I look at my intentions, I look at my life, I look at all the areas of my life, what do I think? What are my beliefs? about those areas of my life. Why? Because it is those beliefs. When we talk about mindset, it is more about what you believe about yourself, what you believe about the world, what you believe about other people. You see, those three things determine how far you go in life.
Mm.
Now, if you there's another popular quote that says that if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
So, what do you think you can? What do you think you can't? Ask yourself. I mean, that's a coaching assignment I always give my clients and say that write down all your I can'ts. Everything you say you can't do, write it down. And then when you write it down, I always push them to go for like 20, 25, but you can't do 10, just 20 at the minimum. Do your I can't do this. I can't. Or and then when you're done with that list, look at it again and ask yourself, why do I think I can't do this thing? Because you see, your mindset is an underlying script of your life. It drives what you do and what you don't do. Someone don't need to tell you. Once you say you can't, that's the
Yeah.
end. That's the end. So for you to be able to live an intentional life, if you okay, so let's go back to the example I used about fitness. But if you say that I can't be fit, I can achieve this weight goal. If once you say that, there is nothing you're going to
Yeah.
do that's going to get you. You will not even have the motivation to
You
be
throw it
able
into
to
the
push that through.
you throw it into the universe, and the universe is giving you exactly what you're asking for.
So because you said
Like,
you can't, you already shut the door for
yeah.
possibility. But once you start to say I can, which comes from the kind of mindset you have, then your brain starts to look for the possibility, for the solutions for it. So if there is a problem and you say, okay, no, I will defeat this problem, though you don't know the answer right now, but once you that mindset is in
Yeah.
place, your mind starts to find that solution. Your mind actually attracts things to you. It does. It's a frequency. There's a frequency of your thoughts. That frequency attracts the direct correlation of that thought into your life.
Mm.
So if you have the frequency of I can't,
Yeah.
then that negative possibilities is what will come to your life.
Um,
Now, I remember the scripture that says when Job said to the Lord that what I fear has suddenly come on me. Do you why? It was his mindset.
yeah.
It was the negative mindset he had. He was in fear, and that thing that he feared came upon
Came
him.
upon him.
So check the results that you're having. The result. What is being attracted to you? If you look at it and you say, no, this is not what I want, then change your mindset. Change your mindset because you have to change your mindset.
Mm.
So
Thank
that's something
you.
about mindset.
No, that's powerful right there.
Awesome.
That's powerful right there. It's almost like, they say the power of the tongue.
Yes.
And it's people often forget it's connected to the mind.
You
What you think,
actually
you're speaking.
yes, you actually say what you're thinking.
Yeah.
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 You don't say what you have not thought about. It's
Hmm.
your speech is a result of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's say that we are in that, we know what we want in life. We
Hmm.
know the journey we want to take, the path we want to take. But our mindset is the struggle, right? We see something that no one in our lives have ever done, no one in our little area, neighborhood has ever done before, right? So our mindset is creating those limiting beliefs. So now, as a coach to your clients, are there any kind of daily practices or, I don't know, rituals, however we're going to say it, that you recommend to someone who wants to reprogram that limiting beliefs and develop a new way of thinking?
Yeah. Yes. So I mean, I was going to get to that when immediately you started talking about the power of the tongue. So one of the ways, the first way one of the ways after you have discovered that you have a limiting mindset. You pinpoint the area you have the limiting mindset by doing the activity of your 20 I can't and reevaluating it.
Yeah.
The next thing you want to do is to reframe your I can't to I can.
Okay.
So the way you have written down those statements of I can't, now convert them to I can. So everywhere you had previously said I can't, now say I can. Now write it down. Now this is where the daily practice comes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Daily practice of repeating those words to yourself. So if you notice that when you think it, you say it. The process of saying it reinforces it. Now you want to reinforce a new system, you
Mm-hmm.
have to say it daily. So your I can statement, your I am statement. So there's something called I am as well. So everything you say I am, if you look at your life, everything you said I am to, it's reflecting in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I am this. So you can either change your I can't to I am, or your I can't to I can. Now, have that statement 20 the way you have 20 of that, and then repeat that to yourself every day.
Hmm.
Set a time set an alarm on your phone. At every point that alarm goes off, repeat that thing to yourself. Voice record it. You can record it on your phone and play it back. Use it as your ringtone. I am, say that to yourself every day for 30 days and see there will be a difference. That's number one. Number two is, if you're in a community where what you're having in your mind does not translate to what you could see. Two, read for it. Read for it. Learning is just not for knowledge. Learning is building new neurological pathways in your mind.
Hmm.
That's what learning does for you. That is how you know things. That's how you become proficiency in something. It's by learning it. And what learning does is, once you start to read it, once you start to interact with that material, there's a new neurological pathway that's formed in your mind. So learn for it. So if you want to build something and nobody has done it before, nobody you know have done it before, go on the internet, search for that idea, look for somebody that is doing it, read their blog, read it every day, set time to listen to their video, read books, read every day, read on that topic. Before you know it, it will become your reality. So you have to learning is a tool of transformation, especially when it comes to your mindset. Learning can help you change your mind. Because once you start to expose yourself in terms of books, in terms of podcasts, in terms of travel, you start to see what other people are doing. It changes the game. It changes how you see yourself. The last one I'm going to give is communities. My mentor says that be in a community of people that their presence is the future you aspire to.
Hmm.
Once you find those communities, they exist. Be in those communities where the people that they are already living your reality. Before long, you will start to be in that space. You will start to see the possibility. Your mindsets change. The conversations you start to have will be different from what you have had. And before you know it, you will be working in that space. And take action. Anything you want to do, take action. What is I wasn't going to add this, but I just remember that. That's my point. Take action. So if there is a possibility your mind is saying, ask yourself, what is the smallest thing I can do
I can
about
do
this
with it.
now, right now? I tell you, by the time you do the first one, it moves you closer and closer to where you want to be.
That is very. Are you guys taking notes?
Yay!
I needed to say we're being coached right now. This is our personal coaching one-on-one
Coaching
session.
session.
If you're not
Awesome.
taking any kind of notes, I don't know what you're doing. Not intentionally listening to this webinar because you should be. But it's something. It's something you said about the I cans, right? It's something I kind of want to pull back into
Mhm.
some people who say, I can't do what you're doing. I can't travel. How do you do that? I can't go on a solo travel. What are you talking about? The moment you say that, as you stated already, the moment you say that, all
You
the
should try something.
possibilities closes
Mhm.
completely.
Yes.
The moment you say, you know what? I can. The next statement will be, I just have to figure out how.
How? Yes.
It's the how that comes next. And
Mhm.
that's where the possibilities open for you. But the moment you say, I can't, that how never comes.
Yeah. How will never come when you say I can't. But once you say I can, your mind starts to pull to those resources, starts to pull the possibilities.
Yeah.
Let me use an example of, have you ever tried to buy a car and then you start to look at the particular brand of the car? Like, oh, this is what I would like. And then the next day you go on the road, you see that car
Everywhere.
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 Why? It's because of the possibilities you started seeing around that
Yep.
car. So the car has always been there.
Yeah.
But because you are not tuned to it,
You don't see
that's
it.
why you didn't see it.
Yeah.
Immediately you tune to something, you will start to see it. So once that's the power of the I can and the I am statement. Once you say I am this, the possibility for those things
Yeah.
come flooding at you.
Perfect, perfect. It's like this. There's this. I forget the guy's name. He was a former football player who does a lot of motivational speaking,
Mhm.
and every single time, whenever I listen to him, is something he always says. He says, "I can, I will, I must," and you have to say it out loud. You
Yeah,
actually have to say it out loud.
yes. I
Reinforce it.
can, I will, I must. Yes.
And that's
That's how you live your life to engender the kind of results
that you.
that those results you admire in people. This is what those people are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, perfect, perfect. All right. Let's keep this going. This is a great conversation we're having.
Awesome. Thank you.
It
Awesome.
really
So
is going.
before we go to the next session, like before we go to other questions, now we're talking about mindset. I want to ask you. So people go through, I mean, for you to go to the next stage of your life, there has to be some mindset shifts,
Yes.
right? There
Hmm.
has to be, okay, oh, this was the way I was thinking about something, or something eats you. An idea can even eat you and it causes a change in your
Yep.
life, right? So I want to ask you, what are some mindset shifts that you have had that has happened to you and that led you either to prioritize travel, personal development, or just growing? So what were those encounters in terms of your mindset that you have had? You could share one or two with us.
Um, a mindset that I've had, one of it comes from working out. So I'll give you guys two. One comes from working out. People who know me know I am crazy. When it comes to workouts, I'm crazy. No one wants to work out with me. Except one
I
person,
don't.
but then she let go.
I
You
don't. I
don't want
don't.
to work out with me because I am very, very disciplined when it comes to it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have my days of procrastination where I don't want to do anything. I just want to lay down on the couch somewhere with a glass of wine and a book or Audible, and that's it. Looking for flights. Because that's my other thing. Looking for flights. I always look for flights. But my mindset when it comes to working out, right? There was a moment in time where I gained weight and I didn't like how I viewed myself. My self-talk was crap. And if you guys don't do
Mm,
self-talk, you need to go and rewire your brains to do self-talk because it's literally what we're just talking about. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I remember specifically saying this to myself. I can't wait to see how my body changes. And
mm,
because for me, it was more of I know how disciplined I can get when I'm in the zone. So I cannot wait to see what I'm going to do with this body.
good body.
Meaning I am going to put you to work. There is no days off. It's a teacher that I actually have that says no days off. And I know like to run a 10K, to run 10 miles, to run 3 miles even, it takes a certain level of mindset,
Mm,
a certain level of self-awareness to know, okay, am I really hurt or am I just giving myself an excuse? Right.
mm,
For
mm.
example, today I ran 9 miles. In the beginning, I didn't want to start. I'm like, oh, I really don't want to start.
Wow.
The day before, I was like, it's leg day. I'm not doing leg day because you know what? I need to rest it out for the 9 miles I'm gonna run today. 9 miles came today, and I'm like, oh, should I really? I start off this run with a mindset of I'm going to do it because I said I would.
Awesome.
So through through trials and tribulations of this run, I'm gonna do it. Halfway through, I was about to call my dad to tell him, like, come pick me up, please. I can't. And then I had to say to myself in that disciplined way and structured way of thinking, I said I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it.
Going to do it.
No matter what, no matter with any discomforts that comes along the way. Right. So that is a mindset shift that I've had for from a while from just not having good self-talk. And it got to a point where I had to have that self-talk. I read a book on self-talks. I read a specific book on accountabilities, having an accountability partner with you. I read the what is the book? The rich dad, poor dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that book too, and it was all about mindset shifts. Like, you guys want to be millionaires, you guys want to do this, even TikTokers, even influencers. It's all mindset.
Yeah.
It's all mindset. So now if you're gonna pivot over to traveling, it's the same thing. It's mindset. How do you view the world? What do you know of the world to create a thought for it? To create that vision of how you do view it? Is it out of biases? Is it out of what someone's told you about? And a lot of my videos, whenever I tell my clients when it comes to planning a trip, the thing I say all the time, research, research, research. Don't go based off what you think you know.
You said.
You need to go research.
Hmm.
You need to go do your work. You don't want to do your work, we'll do it for you. That's why we're here.
That's my WanderLuxe exists.
Exactly, that's why we're here. But you do need to research. You do need to go look further down in that path. And if you're not someone who likes to step out of your comfort zone and be comfortable being uncomfortable, then do you really want to travel?
Travel. Because
Do you want to put yourself in that space?
hmm, true.
Because
True.
that's the space. Going to it was fun, like, because yesterday I was speaking to my mom. I was taking my mom, who's also my client, guys, to the airport, and I had heart palpitations. And it's interesting. I was nervous for her because she went up the counter to go check in. And there is something that happens when you go to the airport. I don't care what anyone tells me. There is something that happens when you go to the airport, when you're going through customs. When someone's checking your passport, you're like, are they going to turn me away? Did I do something wrong? Like, there's that kind of little fear in you. If you're not comfortable with that fear, then
You
your
would not
mindset,
travel.
exactly, you wouldn't want to travel. Your mindset wouldn't be in a place of, oh, let me go experience the world. Because experiencing the world comes with changes, comes with differences, comes with things you've never seen before.
Wonderful. Hmm.
Like, no one knows anything. Like, if you don't travel, you wouldn't know that there's something called electronic passports. That your own regular passport is good enough to use for, but if you don't travel, you don't know. And so when you go and you travel, eventually it's weird. No, it's the norm. Right. So that's my own mindset in a nutshell that helps in my eyes. If you do not shift it in any way, you're going to continue to set yourself in that block. And you're not going to move on. You're going to wonder why you're not having these experiences people are having.
So from what you said, that you pick it back to you need to know what is holding you back
Yes.
and then break free from it.
Yeah.
Be intentional about breaking free from whatever it is
Yes.
that is holding you back.
Yes.
Thank you. That was good.
Point blank. All right. Well, that's literally our conversation, like mindset shifting, living your life with intentionality to let you get to where
Where
you
you want to
need
be.
to be, where you want to be, where you envision yourself being. Because at the end of the day, your life is in your hands. The outcome, the future of your life is
It's
literally in
actually
your
yours. It's
hands.
yours to decide. It's yours to
Exactly. You
decide.
mold it however you want to, but
Yeah.
it's based off of your decisions. Right? So we're gonna ask our coach another question because we have her here, so we're going to pick her brain some more. So we've spoken about intentional living, we've spoken
Mhm.
about mindset shifts, right?
Mhm.
But now, we want to take something away more, something actionable. You said a lot. I I don't know if they've taken note, but I've taken notes. And so I have a lot of things that I want to do on a day-to-day basis, though, from what we've already had from what we've already said right now. But if there's one specific thing out of this entire conversation we're having right now, if there is one specific action that someone can take today, this week, tomorrow to move closer to the life that they envision, what would that be?
That's it's difficult to say one thing. But if I would narrow it down to one thing, I would say set daily intentions. So, preferably the night before, right? The night before, ask yourself, what do I want to achieve in the next 24 hours? So,
Okay.
why I say set it the night before is when you do set it the night before, in the morning, you get to do those things
Right
first
away. Hmm.
first thing in the morning. Like it becomes a central thing in your mind. It marinates in your soul as you sleep. You would be amazed. And then when you wake up in the morning, you have the vigor to be able to go after it. So if you've not been doing that, and you really want to move your life forward, I will say on a day to day. So my what I'm saying, this one thing is what you can do on a daily basis. Now, prior to that, sorry, I know you said
Said
one
one
thing, but let
thing.
me
You
take
took
it.
for one
Let
thing.
I'm sorry. Let me
Right?
just let
This
me.
count's one thing.
I need to tie it together because you could do actions on a daily basis,
Hmm.
but your action on a daily basis must be to a particular end.
Okay.
So I will say set a goal. What is the goal? Set a goal. Set a goal at the minimum. You should have a goal for May 2025 to say that what do I when it's the 31st of May,
Hmm.
what do I want to have achieved? Now, that goal, have it in front of you, and then ask yourself, then that piggybacks to what I initially shared to say that, then ask yourself, what must I do today to move me closer to that goal? So the first thing for from now is on
Hmm.
a monthly basis, if you can't do it long term, on a monthly basis, ask yourself, it's the it's May, it's June, it's July.
Yeah.
What do I want to achieve in this month? And at the minimum, dedicate your time to do one thing every day towards that goal. And you will see that that vision will become a reality. That goal you have will become something you have materialized because you had a goal, you
Yeah.
had something you wanted to do, and you took those action towards it on a daily basis.
AKA, you're moving with purpose. You're
Yes,
moving with purpose. So
yes.
give us two for one, and we'll take it.
Thank you. Yeah,
We'll
I
accept
just want
it.
it to work. I want it to work.
Tie it all in together. That is our goal here. And I really do hope you all enjoyed this conversation or took something out of this conversation. Now, for you guys that are thinking about mindsets and traveling that we've just spoken about, transforming your life. I want to travel some more. I want to solo travel. I'm not quite sure. We're here.
Yeah. So tell us more about how we can engage your services at TravelLux. And for someone that just wants to start out traveling, what should I do?
So, from WanderLuxe, we are here. We are here. You can always go to our website, which is the Wanderlux. I would throw that in here as well. If you want to, what we actually do is for every first time client, we do give away 15 minutes free one-on-ones, right? Where
Awesome.
we can just talk, right? You can pick my brains. You don't need to end that 15 minutes of a free consultation with paying for something. No, it's a service we are given, right? To get you started. Because sometimes you just need someone to hold your hands, and Chat GPT is too cold. Doesn't really give you a hug when you need the hug, right? Doesn't really give you a whole lot more, right? And that's why we are here for you on that. That's why we do give that 15-minute consultations. Because sometimes people just need a head start, right? We
Mhm.
then also provide different services for different types of travelers. So if you're a solo traveler, if you are you're traveling with the girls, traveling with the guys, going on a bachelorette trip or whatever the case may be. If you're going travel as a family, right? That we do. But I'm dabbing a little bit into wedding planning as well, corporate travel as well. So we are trying to go into that sphere and make those itineraries a bit more intentional based on your focus, based on what you want to get out of it. That's the purpose behind it all. We do have other social media sites that you can go in and look, and especially the series that I talked about before, the things to avoid, the TikTok series. Yes, so you can go on there as well, and we can just give you ideas, throw it out there because we're in the social media world right now where everything is just at your disposal, and we want to provide that to you as well. But if you do want one-on-one services, just come to us, come to our website, and we will provide that for you. We do Zoom calls, so phone calls. We can pack with you. If you want us to accompany to the airport, if you are in the state that I'm in, yes, I will help. But that's what we do. We try to make your lives easier. We try to make sure that your life is moving in intentionality as well. And the same question I'm going to throw at you, Coach Shay, for me.
Okay, so what we do is you have a goal, you want to achieve more with your life, you have a vision on your heart, you want to do more with yourself. That's all we're about. You got into a new leadership role, you don't know how to navigate the terrain, you're having a block, you want to achieve new levels of growth, and you're stuck on this current level. We do all of that in terms of life strategy, leadership coaching, personal life coaching, learning. We also do learning for corporates. Like, okay, you're starting, you have a firm, and it's starting up small. You want to be able to grow your team, do facilitation training. We do all of those for you. So you can find me on coachafumi.com. Go to the website, download our free resources, eat us up, right? Send us a mail saying, oh, you want to talk to us. We also offer free consultation. Like our first meeting with you to determine what your needs are is going to be free so that then we will be able to determine what kind of services will best suit you. So it's not a one service fit all. It is what works for you, what attunes more to your needs. So on coachafumi.com, you'll find me there.
Perfect. And you actually have a book, right? I believe.
Oh, that is true. Oh my God, I forgot about my book. Well, I just said about it. Like, how do you introduce my book? Okay, yes, I'm an author of two books. Funny enough, I'm author of, did I say two books? Three books. So the third book, yeah, the third book is for kids. So it's the third, let me start with the third. It's one of my favorite. It was something I had to design because I needed to create something for my kids, right? So it's one of my favorite things. My kids use it. It's called Reader's Digest. So what it does is it's a journal for kids for reading. So when they read, they tend to write about what they read,
Right.
and then they can color about what they read and all of that. There's also the part where we talk about words. So there are a couple of words at the back of the book. At the back of the book, your kids can pick from it and then find the meaning of just building their vocabulary and helping them to be able to write. So that's the kid book. Now to the other books, to the adult books. So I have two books. It's titled PhD in Me. PhD in Me, it's about self-discovery. So we look at 12 areas of life and say, okay, how well do you know yourself in those areas? It's about that intention. So you evaluate where you are, you evaluate how you are thinking, your belief system in each of those areas, and you set goals for those areas. There's also where you have to write about where there are resources you could. So if there's any part of area of your life you want to grow, there are resources in that book that you can use to be able to get yourself to the next level. Now, peeling back on that book, that's PhD in Me, Knowing Yourself. Now we also have PhD. My second book is PhD in Me 365 Days. So PhD in Me 365 Days is a daily journal where you have prompted questions to guide you in journaling to knowing more of yourself. I think I said it before. People don't know themselves well
Correct.
enough. They
Yeah.
don't know themselves well enough. So PhD in Me 365 is to help you know yourself, daily journaling about yourself, and every month there are challenges in that book that you can take. Like you could get, I think about 25 challenges in the book. You pick one, go action it, and then help you to know more about yourself to move you always towards that intentional living. So
Nice.
those are my two books. Yeah, available on Amazon. Just check on Amazon, PhD in Me. It's once you type PhD in Me, you will see me, or you type my name in on Amazon. My books will come up for you to see. New books are coming up very soon. So
Is there
stay.
also access to it on your Coach
Yes.
website?
So you could also on coachafumi.com/books. The links to the books are there.
On there. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. So we have no excuse.
Yes, there's no excuse.
We
You
have
could do
no
anything.
excuse. We're gonna live our life with intentional.
Yeah.
We're going to travel with intention.
Intentional. And we're going
Um,
to grow with
Exactly,
intention.
with attention. That's the
Yeah.
way here. So we do hope you guys did gain some insight as how travel can be a catalyst,
Hmm.
how to travel intentionally, and also how to live your day-to-day life intentionally as well, and
Yeah.
move you closer to the goal that you want. And if you don't have a goal, go create one. Take a walk
Yes.
and
Create a
create
goal.
one. Create a goal.
Have a goal for yourself and take one action towards it.
Yeah,
But
doesn't have to be
before,
big.
yeah, before we leave, I want to say thank you so much, Onye, for having me.
Well,
This was much more fun than I thought it would be. Thank you so much. I look forward to the other things and the greater things we'll be doing
yes.
together. Thank
This
you.
was so much fun. We probably have another part for
We
this.
will do it. We will do more. We'll do more.
We will do so much more for this. But thank you so much too for giving us your time, your wisdom, your joy, your energy.
Yes, I invested my time in this because this
Yes.
is one of the things.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we do appreciate time
Thank
invested. That's
you.
one thing you cannot get back, and that's time.
Thank you.
But
Thank
thank
you.
you guys once more. Thank you, Coach A, for me. Thank you all for listening to us share our wisdom with you guys, share our passion with you guys. And if you have any further questions for us, you know where to reach us. We will make sure you have all the information either on the screen here or below. Please reach out to us if you do need any kind of consultation. We will help you. We are here for you. But for now, have a
Bye.
good one. Bye.